Yeah, well,
performed?
not the great start like I had the other night, but it was also due to the conditions. They were quite humid on the center court. I feel like I said it, after the first round match that it's very little air, very little breeze that you can feel on the court, and I think it affected both of us. He started off solid. We had some rallies and. We kind of had to reach out for the towel basically after each one of those longer rallies. So it took a bit more time and effort, but, one break was enough. And then after that, second set, I played really good. Beginning of the third, couple of close games, but last 4 games of the third, I ended up really playing really well. I'm pleased, I'm pleased with the way I'm feeling and playing on the court. It can always be better, but first 2 rounds, didn't spend too much time on the court and, played very solid and, hopefully I can keep building.
Good. Thank you very much. Name and affiliation, please. Questions? Yes.
Novak Vinay for Inside Tennis. So your next opponent is going to be your compatriot, and you only played once before at Serbia Open last year on clay. So tell us about it a little bit, like what it feels to play a friend. Perhaps you might go a long way together. And that was a tight match last year in Serbia.
Yes, it was. Well, I think he's playing one of his best tennis on hard courts at the moment, actually. He's in very good form. And it's great for Serbian tennis that we have, a match up in the 3rd round. So one Serbian is going to be definitely in the 4th round, which is, always great for our tennis. He's one of the hardest workers on the tour. We follow each other, not just me and him, but players in the locker rooms, in the gym. The amount of hours that one player puts or the other player puts in his time on the court in the gym, and he's definitely one of the top hardest workers out there. Puts a lot of hours into care for his body and trying to build his form. So eventually the results will come for a player like him. Because he's very, very dedicated and very nice guy, very quiet, and just works hard and big fighter. Does his best. And obviously clay, his favorite surface. But as I said, he's improving on hard court, no doubt. Here, slightly slower hard courts, balls as well. So I think it's favorable to his game. He's physically very fit, so I must be ready for a physical battle.
Okay. Andrew?
Hey, Novak. Andrew Akinos with the ATP. You were speaking about Laszlo, and he's had to persevere through a lot, more than anyone should have to. What does it say about his character that despite all of that, he's continued pushing and had such a nice career so far?
Yes, he did have a lot of struggles, with his family and private issues, and had to endure all of that. So it says a lot about his mental resilience, and he's, as I said, this very nice guy, very humble, just very quiet. Just goes about his things, and works as hard as anybody and tries his best. He's really dedicated to the game. And I really like him as a person and as a player as well. We of course know each other very well because we come from the same country. We practice, we say part of the same Davis Cup team, of course. So it's also great prior to Davis Cup, which is coming up right after US Open, that we're both in good form because we have high hopes, obviously for this year's Davis Cup. Hopefully we can do well as a team. So. I wish him all the best, except for next match, I guess.
Brian.
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. You guys obviously are allowed to receive more coaching during the match than you could obviously during most of your career. When we see you being vocal with your coach, if you miss a shot, and we see you yelling to your team, are you looking for answers? We see that a lot in tennis. We don't see it in basketball, like when a guy misses a shot very often, yell at their team. Are you looking for answers for them, or is it just your sort of map?
Well, it's different in basketball because you can basically go to your coach or bench anytime you want. We are not able to do that, so we have to sometimes raise our voice in order for our team to hear us, or or for us to hear them, because otherwise, we have to communicate with the signs or signals. It's loud out on the court. I mean, I would want to see, honestly, a possibility of I'm actually supportive of the on-court coaching or headset communication or whatever ways of getting more coaching. I think it's good. It's good for the audience. It's good for a player. I understand that there are some, opponents of this, coaching rule that are saying, yeah, you're a tennis player, individual athlete, so you have to figure things out by yourself. Well, you have to figure them out anyway, even if coach comes in, say on a set break or whatever, and you talk, you still have to play yourself, right? There's no substitution, so it's quite different, than basketball. It's really not comparable. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually happy that we are able now to freely communicate rather than hiding from a chair umpire or supervisor, like we did for many years. So it's good. It's good. I'm supportive of that.
Okay, Willie.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. A little while ago, Iga Swiatek was in here, and she said that when she watches you and Carlos play, she's most impressed with the fight, the never give up approach. And Coco Gauff said that she most admires how even when you're losing, you and Carlos, you stay positive. Mm-hmm. When you think of those two players, Iga and Coco, what do you think of most about what they bring to their games and the way they play?
Well, Iga has been dominating the women's game last couple of years, multiple Grand Slam winner. And I love her, devotion, dedication. Also, she's got maybe she's too humble to say, too modest to say, but she's got a great fighting spirit, no doubt. She's a warrior, goes out there and doesn't give a single game. Actually, she has probably the most bagels of anyone in women's tennis, and in the last few years. So it speaks about how seriously and professionally she's taking every single point and game on the court. So that's very admirable. I really like that kind of champion spirit and mindset. And Coco is on the rise. I think she's yet to win a Grand Slam, but played in the finals. She's still young, but now Brett Gilbert on her side, with the great experience of coaching some of the greats. I think things are coming together for her. She played really good tennis in Cincinnati, and also she's been playing well here. She's got the home support, of course, which is always welcome and needed. And physically, she seems to be very fit. She's striking the ball very well, and I think she broke to the kind of top of the women's game quite early. Some years ago, I think she was 16, 17 when she played the fourth round of Wimbledon. So, but it still takes some time, a few years, for things to come together where you feel that you are complete as a player, that you are ready to win slams and dominate the game. And I think she's coming very close to that stage and that level. So I'm sure that she has very high hopes for US Open, and she should, because she's playing really well.
Okay, we have two more in English. One, and then Andrew.
Sarah Germano with the Financial Times. Novak, you've been on tour for 20 years, which is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And the world, particularly the media world, has changed a lot during that time. Everything from television to newspapers to social media, etc. I'm curious how you, as an athlete, experience those changes, both in what your perspective is on the coverage of tennis during that time and your career as, a number one and many times.
Well, my mindset has always been to really adapt to the change and to the pace of life. Of course, maintaining the right balance, I think, is a key of understanding who you are and keeping the authenticity. In today's world, that's actually probably even more needed and respected than it ever was, I think, because there's so much going on, and there's tons of informations that are coming to you through social media, through internet, television, any digital communication tool that you can think of. You have thousands of information that you have to process every single day. So that's a lot. I mean, when I was starting professional tennis career, it was completely different. So I think this is something that you can't really stop, or if the more you resist it, I guess the worse it is. So you have to kind of find the individual formula that really works for you. I feel like it's important to embrace the change, the evolution of humankind, of society, of where things are going, and try to use that as a tool for your professional career, your branding, your marketing, your PR, your communication to your fans, the charity, whatever you're looking for, in whatever ways you want to communicate to the world. I think nowadays it's better than ever, because all it takes is a photo and one or two phrases, and millions of people around the world can see it instantly, which is amazing, to think about that. But at the same time, it's important to find a balance. I think especially for an athlete, athletes are, especially the athletes in global sports, football, basketball, soccer, tennis, golf. These sports are followed around the world, and whatever you say, however you behave, is monitored and analyzed and judged in whatever positive or negative way by millions of people. So, if an athlete is not really paying too much attention on mental side of things, it can really hurt you, the comments and everything, right? So mental health is important. I think is important, equally as important as the physical health. I think I'm really glad that there's been more talks about that, more conversations in the last few years. I'm really glad to hear that, and I think we have to collectively pay more attention to that, so that we also help each other and athletes and us as a whole ecosystem to thrive, and use this evolution as an advantage rather than something that can take us down.